Okay, so today we are taking notes over standard form. Virtual students, you're a day off, so this would be 10-14. Your title is standard form, and you should be page 11. Again, all the notes I have uploaded in the Algebra Journal in your Schoology account if you're missing any of the notes. So this is a foldable that is also in Schoology. You can print it out and fill it out. And then also, once I'm done with the notes, I will take a picture and upload this as well into Schoology. All right, standard form of linear equations. You can only use this for linear equations, just like slope-intercept form and just like point-slope form. So our equation is ax plus by equals c. Ax plus by equals c. There are two methods to figure out our answers when I'm looking for questions over slope or standard form. So the first method is to convert to my slope-intercept form. So method one, I'm going to say convert. To y equals mx plus b. That means I'm using my inverse operations and I'm moving the equation around. So that means that ax is on the opposite side, and that means I divide everything by b. Method two is to find and graph x and y intercepts, which if you look in Schoology on the anchor chart, and in my classroom, it's hanging in my classroom, usually that's what we do is we find the x and the y intercepts and then we graph it. So two methods. When you work out problems, you decide which one you want to do. If some of you are having problems converting your standard form to y equals mx plus b, then maybe method two would be the way to go. For method one, we're going to write down the steps. Number one, move your ax. So that just means if I had 5x plus 6y equals 10, I would move my whatever's next to x to the other side. Move your ax to the other side. And again, to do this, it's inverse operations. So if I had 5x, I'm moving it to the other side, it would be minus 5x. If I had negative 3x and I'm moving it to the other side, it would be positive 3x. So you just add or subtract to get to the other side. Step two, divide everything by b. Divide everything by b. So whatever's next to y, like if there was a 2y, you divide everything by 2. Every single term. And then after that, we should have it in slope-intercept form. So from there, we can graph the y-intercept. And use the slope. Graph the y-intercept and use the slope. So pretty much we're going to be using rise over run. So looking at my slope-intercept form equation, I plot the y-intercept and say if my slope is 3, 4, that means I would go up 3 over 4, draw a line, and then I can visually look to see what my line looks like. I can visually see what my y-intercept is, and I also can see what my x-intercept is as well. Okay, method 2, which this is mainly what we're going to be using today, and this is what's on the anchor chart. Find the x-intercept. So you're going to plug in 0 for y. Plug in 0 for y. And then you're just going to get x by itself. So just like solving a one-step equation. Plug in 0 for y, get x by itself. Find the y-intercept. You're going to plug in 0 for x, so it's the opposite. Plug in 0 for x, and then you're going to get y by itself. Plug in 0 for x and get y by itself. And then you would just put those 2 points on a graph and just draw a line through those 2 points. Okay, so both methods, if you open up your foldable, we're going to do both methods. One method, we're just going to change it to slope-intercept form, graph it. The next method, we're going to find our x and y intercept and graph it. So my example is 3x plus 5y equals 15. And I always like to label my equation just so I can know what my a, b, and c is. So this is ax plus by equals c. So I'm just labeling my equation just so I know that that is in standard form. Also in standard form, a, b, and c should be integers. If they are fractions, then you have to simplify it because it would not be in standard form. So we're going to rewrite the equation, 3x plus 5y equals 15. Looking at my notes, number 1 says move your ax term to the other side. So that's 3x. I want it on the right. So I do the inverse. I subtract 3x on both sides. So this is 5y equals, and it doesn't matter which way you write it. These are not like terms, so you cannot say 15 minus 3 is 12x. That's not correct because they are not like terms. Since I'm trying to put it in slope-intercept form, I'm going to put the x first. So negative 3x plus 15. So I just did number 1. Number 2 says divide everything by b. Well, my b is 5, so that means I'm dividing everything by 5. Mm-hmm. 5 divided by 5 is 1. That cancels out. So if I rewrite this, this is y equals negative 3 over 5x plus 15 divided by 5 is 3. Now I have it in slope-intercept form. So then, once I have it in slope-intercept form, whenever I'm graphing slope-intercept form, I always plot my y-intercept first. So my y-intercept is at 3. So I'm going to look at the grid down here and find 3, which the lines are kind of hard to read. So it looks like there's 1, 2, 3. So I'm just going to count up 3. I'm just going to start at the origin and go up 1, 2, 3. Start at the origin, go 1, 2, 3. The numbers are in between here, so I'm not even looking at the numbers. I'm just counting the lines. And then my slope is negative 3 over 5. So that means I'm going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3, and go to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, I'm going to go down 3 to the right 5. I'm looking at it. That is a negative slope. I'm going to use my ID or a straight edge to draw a line through those 2 points. I'm going to add arrows at the end of my line because it's a continuous graph. It's a linear line. It does not curve. This is a function if I use the vertical line test. My domain and range would be all real numbers because it keeps going on into infinity. So if I visually look at that, I know that my y-intercept is at 0, 3. And if I visually look at this, I know that my x-intercept is at 5, 0. So this is one way to figure out the x and the y-intercepts. So when I use this equation, I'm really looking for the intercept. Okay, method 2, which this is the one most students prefer to use. So I'm going to find my x-intercept first. Going to find my x-intercept first. So that means I'm plugging in a 0 for y. So this would be 3x plus 5 times 0 equals 15. So I'm plugging in a 0 for y. So if I work this out, this is just 3x equals 15. So x equals 5. The y-intercept, same concept. So this time I'm plugging in a 0 for x. So this would be 3 times 0 plus 5y equals 15. 3 times 0 plus 5y equals 15. So 3 times 0 is 0, so really this is 5y equals 15. I divide both sides by 5, so y equals 3. So my x-intercept and my y-intercept. Once I get those 2 answers, remember I wasn't given the slope or anything, I'm just looking for the 2 intercepts. I actually plot those on my graph. So my x equals 5, that means on the x-axis I plot 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On my x-axis I plot 5. And on my y-axis I plot 3. Again, I plot my 2 intercepts, my x-intercept and my y-intercept. And then once I have my 2 points, I use some sort of straight edge. I draw a line through the 2 points. My line's off just a little bit on this one. All right, so you should notice that it doesn't matter which method you use, whether you put it in slope-intercept form or you find your 2 intercepts, you're going to be given the same exact graph. So when we're doing assignments, you decide whether you want to put it in slope-intercept form or whether you want to find the intercepts and plot it.